Hello, chat. Hello. Sorry, I sorry for being a minute late. I got a little bit distracted when I saw a really funny thing on Twitter. Tonight is a very special stream. It's the first stream that I've done like this in a while. Haven't. Hey, Silva, good to see you. So, let me let people know that I'm live. Okay. All right. So, I'm live. I had to post my going live link in like a variety of places. Before stream today. It was really funny. I will explore all of that later. There's lots of talking happening on one of the Discord servers I'm a member of, and I got distracted by it. I get distracted easily, which is not super great quality to have if I want to be focused on doing stuff and just, you know, generally functioning in modern society. Alright, I've let people know I'm live, so let's change over to just chatting. Oop. Hello. There we go. There's my model. Don't you dare use a laser pointer, Silva, because I will chase it. I will absolutely chase it. I will absolutely chase that laser pointer. Hello, Nabiru. I was just saying that I posted the going live link in a extra place. I would not be surprised if I'm part cat. Maybe one of these days I'll get a Catboy model. I'll get like cat ears or something put on the top of my model's head for like a special event or something. But maybe just for a day, maybe just for a single stream, Silva. All right, hold on. Let me What is this key? It is not tilted on. Is it the way I'm sitting? There we go. That's better. It was just weird. My model was like tilting its head to the side and like looking funny, and I'm like, why is it looking like that? What in the world is going on? Oh, Peter Cullen got a Lifetime Achievement Award. Okay. You've slept like a cat for so long. Oh no, Nabiru. So tonight's stream is just gonna be a stream like I haven't had in a while. I know a few months back I was going through this whole phase where I just kept getting and learning about new TTRPGs. Actually, I feel like it was almost a year ago. I just kept getting, like, I would either be finding free RPGs, free TTRPGs, or my friends would be buying me TTRPGs. And I was like learning new ones, and then as I would learn a new one, I would do some content about it. Whether it be just like character creation, breaking down the like breaking down the system, all of that stuff. And I had a lot of fun with those streams. The One Piece is real, you don't say, Silva. Didn't One Piece just start like a reboot of their anime while the first anime is still ongoing? I saw something about that. Oh, that's next year? Okay. Yeah, the. One Piece no filler, but isn't like One Piece known for having like top tier filler? Like, isn't that one of its thing where like its filler is just like really good and important? Or at least that's what I've heard. I've heard that like skipping filler on One Piece is like a good way to miss key parts of the story. Like they have like filler arcs or something. I don't know. I haven't. I only know rumors and things I've heard about One Piece. I haven't actually watched it. Need to reboot. You saw it here, folks. Silva's a cyborg, confirmed. Or maybe Silva's an android. Yeah, so one of my friends like turned me on to this and was like, "Hey, this is a thing." And I was just like, "Yo, what?" And I did some research and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so hype." Because like, so TCGs have been a part of my life for literally most of my life. I started as a kid playing the Pokemon TCG, then I moved on to playing Magic, then I moved on to playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And from Yu-Gi-Oh! I eventually moved on to playing Vanguard, and then while I was playing Vanguard, I also picked up Buddy Fight, and I played a bevy of other like short-lived TCGs. I think it's like one or two other ones in the... Oh, Iris. As a long-time Yu-Gi-Oh player and known Yu-Gi-Oh disliker, I'm so sorry. Yeah. So I played Yu-Gi-Oh for a long time. It was one of the formative things for me. Hey, Bryson Roy. So Yu-Gi-Oh was so I played a bunch of TCGs, but none of them really stuck with me like Yu-Gi-Oh was. And for all of the frustration, the pain, the anger, and just the everything negative about Yu-Gi-Oh, I can never fully hate Yu-Gi-Oh. I made some of my best friends playing Yu-Gi-Oh. I remember I got involved with a friend of mine in my hometown who was dreaming of starting a trading card shop. And I got involved with that person through the Yu-Gi-Oh community, and like that was just like completely amazing to me, the concept of someone could run a trading card game shop, right? And like I was spending long nights in my friend's garage helping him sort through cards. And it was just like those long nights of me, my friend, and one other person in the garage just sorting through Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And like playing Yu-Gi-Oh and learning the game and learning different strategies, learning about the meta game, learning how big the world was of Yu-Gi-Oh, traveling around to different tournaments. I grew up in Florida, in South Florida, and I drove with my friends to Edison, New Jersey for the final Shonen Jump. For the final Shonen Jump championship. I don't think any of us did really well, but we were mostly there because my friend who was running a trading card game shop wanted to get the playmats that said that were the final playmats that were going to say Shonen Jump Championship, Shonen Jump Series or whatever, right? And he wanted to get as many of those off of people because they gave you on entry you got a playmat. And he wanted to get those playmats off of as many people as possible because he wanted to sell them because they were going to be limited edition. They weren't like, it was going to be the last thing that said Shonen Jump on them. And that was huge for me. It was the largest tournament I think I've ever been to. And it was huge. It was eye-opening. I got my butt kicked. I read Shonen Jump magazines when I was younger too for a little bit. Yeah, so Shonen Jump used to sponsor a monthly Yu-Gi-Oh tournament that would happen in different parts of the country, of the US. And after Edison, it changed over, and I don't think it was sponsored by Shonen Jump anymore, and it became I don't know if it got bought out or what happened with it, but it became the Yu-Gi-Oh Championship Series, the YCS. So what are now YCSs used to be called Shonen Jump Championships. And they were huge. And that was this huge part of my life, this huge formative thing of like meeting so many people, seeing so many things. I think I still have a deck box I got at that event, or like right before that event. And like, it was wild being in the same place. So it was like an anime convention, but it was all people there to play Yu-Gi-Oh. And like, it was just this special moment. It was this special moment. And eventually, after I left Florida, moved to Maryland, and got involved with the trading card game scene. I wasn't doing trading card games for a while. I was just playing with my friends down the street and stuff, and it was really funny because after you get used to competing at that like high level of Yu-Gi-Oh, and you're used to competing, yeah, it is really impactful. And it was really funny, like after I moved, going from competing at like high level Yu-Gi-Oh, even though I didn't win much, right? In my friend group, I had so many people in my friend group that were constantly like training and practicing and doing stuff in order to compete at high level Yu-Gi-Oh. And among my friend group, I was always the one who would come like almost always like dead last or near last in my friend group. But it was a bunch of people who like, I think some of them placed at big tournaments, and it was definitely being in a big pond with some really big fish. And then after I moved to Maryland for the first like few months, I was just playing Yu-Gi-Oh with some kids down with not some I was 21, so like it was like a kid at the time, but like it was other fellow like 20 somethings. I was just playing Yu-Gi-Oh with some fellow neighborhood people. And going from being a small fish in a big pond to being a big fish in a small fish bowl was really interesting, where I was just like kind of curb stomping people, and it was just really funny, that entire transition. Then I eventually got back involved in the Yu-Gi-Oh scene, and I was doing I could do really good at locals. I made a reputation up for myself, and it was really funny. It's like something out of an anime. I remember I was playing someone at a locals one time, and this dude's like, "Oh, I see. I get why people know you now." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "You're just the machine duelist that just beats people." And I'm like, I guess, because like I love machines. I'm like, that is what I play. I love mechs. I love giant robots. Yes, Orion the machine duelist. Yes, an anime moment. It was really funny. It was really funny. I just like having an opponent say that to me. And like, I remember one of my friends was like, exactly, Bryce. And having one of my friends like tell me, like I've had like a couple friends tell me, they're like, "Listen, you think you're like you think that you're bad, but you don't know what it's like to be on the other side of the table from you." And I'm like, I guess. But after a while, Yu-Gi-Oh got really expensive. I realized that like while I could do well on the locals level, boss subtitles. Yes, Cyrus. Uh uh I I went to I noticed every time I went to big tournaments, because there was a pretty active card game community here in Maryland, in the tri-state area. And yeah, I realized I was doing really good at the local level, but like when I got to like big tournament level, I would choke. I would get nervous. I would trip over myself. I would make mistakes. I wouldn't think my moves through. I would get outplayed. I would overthink everything. I would either be overthinking or underthinking everything, and I would just choke. And I remember one of my friends was like, "Dude, I can't even process the fact that you're losing right now. Like, you kick all of our butts at locals, and you're just getting curb stomped here at a YCS." No, it was at a regionals. It was at a regionals. Like, you're getting curb stomped at this regionals. I can't process that. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like, I just choke. And I realized I was spending a lot, and I do mean a lot of money, to just choke at every regionals. And it just felt like I was struggling. I was playing oh no, Bryce. Um, and one of I remember my bro telling me about this other card game that was the new card game coming out called Vanguard. And like, I started reading up on forum posts about Vanguard, about like the card game as it was coming out, right? And like all the cards and all the stuff. I was reading about the Japanese cards and I was so hyped. I remember I thought, so there's this one ability in Vanguard where when a unit attacks, you reveal the top card of your deck. If it has a trigger, it sets off its trigger effect and then it adds to your hand. And then grade 3s have Twin Drive, where it reveals 2 cards. The first grade 3 I read, it explained Twin Drive in the forum I was at, and my mind was blown. I was like, yo, this card adds 2 cards to your hand every time it attacks? And I thought that was an ability of that one card, not an ability that all grade 3s have. It was really funny. And I just got into Vanguard. I got into... I met some people at one of my locals when I was going, and I was like at the back of the locals. Yeah, early Vanguard. Like this was when like I think like 3 or 4 sets were out in Japan, but like we only had like 2 sets here in the US. And like they were playing catch up on the releases, and like as soon as I read this stuff, I was like, I want to play Dimension Police. I want to play Dimensional Robos, even though there wasn't a whole bunch of Dimensional Robos that had been released even in Japan yet. So I'm like, what am I gonna play till Dimensional Robos come out in the US? So I ended up playing Gold Rutile, which was a Nova Grappler deck, which plays completely differently than Dimension Police. But it was a robot. It was a giant robot. I love machines. And I met these people who were at my Yu-Gi-Oh locals, sitting in the back of the Yu-Gi-Oh locals, playing Vanguard. And I was like, yo, can I learn to play Vanguard with you all? Can I like play with you all? And they like let me use their decks, and like I was playing with them, and it was so great. And they became close friends that I still care about to this day. I haven't talked to them in a while, but that's just because like we've drifted apart as life happened. But for a while we were just like thick as thieves. There was a whole time when like it was just a huge, like Vanguard became a huge part of my life. And now the thing is, Vanguard, after a certain point, Vanguard started to get expensive too. But it's funny, I sunk so much money into Vanguard. It is ridiculous, the quantity of money that I sunk into Vanguard. But I never really saw any like widespread success or regional victories. I did all right. Like I didn't really place. I had fun. I had fun with Vanguard. I had fun. Once I got my Dimensional Robos going, I'll never forget one night. I was playing in some casual play or whatever at my locals, and everybody else had gone home, and it was like just a couple people there. It was like middle of the night, and this was after Stride had been introduced to Vanguard, and I don't know what it was. I think I was stressed out. I'd had a rough day or whatever, and I went to... Yeah, exactly, Iris. I had a community of really close friends. I had a team. And like I remember there was this point when so striding was essentially playing from the extra deck. And I wanted to stride into this one unit to try to swing for game. And I'm like, yo, I want to be so hype right now, because it was a do or die turn, right? And my opponent's like, just go for it, just go for it. And I'm like, yes. And I literally like, the flavor text on the card was like a ride chant to like summon the mon. It was like what you would say like with the monster with the mech's introduction, and I yelled it at the top of my lungs. I was just like, yeah! It was like saying a ride chant, like saying like a summon chant or whatever. Yeah. It was beautiful. Right. And also Vanguard had like rules for team matches. Do not investigate further. Okay, Iris. Summon chants are cool. And Vanguard had it still does have rules for team play, right? And there are there at least I don't know if they still are, but there were official team tournaments. Like I went to a nationals event in New York. We drove for 2 hours to get there, right? And like it was, I think it was one of the first or the second one they held. And I remember we went there, we were so hyped. There was so much like drama and stuff. It was like, it was during the Link Joker era. You had to be either reversed, or your team either had to be all reversed or Link Joker, or you had to be non-reverse, non-Link Joker. It was so themed. Oh, thank you for the subscription, Iris. I think your subscription puts me at 250 subscribers, which is really cool. I was hoping to hit that before the end of the year. Yes, it was Summon Chance. Let me check something real quick. Yep, your subscription puts me at 250 subscribers. I was hoping I was going to hit that before the end of the... Yes, thank you, Iris. I was hoping I'd hit that before the end of the year. And so... But then, I got involved with the game that kind of changed my life. Future Card Buddy Fight. It was made by Bushiroad, the same company that made Vanguard, Card Fight Vanguard. I bet it is, Silva. And yes, it is. My logo is, it's, I don't know why exactly, but like it's a combination of a drill and a rose. I literally showed some ideas to my artist, and he was like, how about this? And I'm like, sure, let's go with it. And I got involved with Future Card Buddy Fight. Nice, Namiru. And I fell in love with that game. I got really involved in the community, and I did not spend yes, Aki deserved better. And it's really funny because of the card games I played, Future Card Buddy Fight is one of the ones that I spent a very reasonable amount of money on, because most of the cards were very reasonably priced. And that game was the one where I saw the most success. I placed it. I came really close to placing at national events. I went toe to toe with some of the best in the business. And I made a name for myself. Oh gosh, the summon chants have started. I made a name for myself for playing Hero World. That was the world that Made a summon chant for Crab Turtle. Nice. Oh my gosh. I remember Crab Turtle. And Future Card Buddy Fight was this game that I got really involved with helping other people learn, with growing the community. I loved the game. I fell in love with the game. I did great at the game. I still choke sometimes, but that game just had my heart. And it was really funny because like I said, the cards were generally pretty reasonably priced, and I was able to pay decent amounts of money for the cards and the decks that I had. But like, I saw some really great success with that game. My main deck was oh my gosh, from the depths of Chesapeake Bay. Oh my gosh, Iris. Oh my gosh, what have I started? Anyway. On to so for those of you who don't know, I normally like to spend like the first half hour just talking about general stuff. So yes, ride chants are fun. So the reason I've been bringing up TCGs is because, like it says in the title of the stream, we're looking at today. We're going to be looking at the demo kit for a TTRPG in which you are playing essentially through the story of a TCG anime. Now, for a variety of reasons, all we're looking at tonight is the demo kit. I did gain access to the playtest rules, and I might do a game or something, or I don't know. I'm not promising anything right now. I hope to do some stuff, some more content in the future to help advertise this game, because I really want it to succeed. It's like, it's at the nexus of two things that are very crucial in my life: TCGs and TTRPGs, right? So like, I really want this to succeed. But I am only going over the demo kit tonight. So I want to show off some of the stuff from the demo kit, give you some of my thoughts and feelings on the game. Maybe we can design a couple custom cards, because there is rules in the demo kit for designing custom cards. Yes, I think there was. That is... Oh, did you work on the game, Iris? I'm still learning who's involved with the creation of the game. Are you one of the developers? Oh, you're the co-writer and editor. Cool. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let's get into that. All right, let's rearrange my screen so that way I can keep stuff on. I'll add it. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. Okay. Now there are oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. You've got like a small dev team. All right, sure thing, Iris. One thing, I don't know if it's been fixed yet. that I guess I can mention to you. When I downloaded the demo kit, so there's three things: the player's kit, the judge's kit, and the printables. I don't know what it was, but when I downloaded the player's kit, the file name said it was the judge's kit, and I downloaded it twice to see if it was just like a freak thing, and both times I downloaded it, it said it was judge's kit 1.6. I renamed it to player's kit so I wouldn't get confused. But because like the judge's kit says judge's kit, and then the player's kit said judge's kit, which was one thing that got a little bit confusing. But that's just like a technical thing. That's just like that's not related to the game itself. So if you do get the demo kit, just know if you click on the thing that says player's kit and it gives you a judge's kit, it is okay. That's good. That's great, Iris. Also, I just looked at your name. Yeah, Silva is obsessed with Red Dragon Archfiend. It is Silva's ace monster. So yeah, Silva has ride chance for all of the forms of Dragonic Red Dragon Archfiend. I also just looked at your full like YouTube name. Should I call you Iris, or should I call you, this is Iris St. Clair, Nee Lily St. Clair? I don't know. Is it Iris? Is it Lily? Iris is fine? Okay. All right. Okay. Who's this Iris weirdo? Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. All right. Let's jump into it. Alrighty. Let me. Oh, because I had this set for doing 2-page things. Let me. There we go. Alrighty, so let's take a look at the perfect draw. We're going to start with the player's kit. First off, I love the art. The characters are very lively and eye-catching. It looks enough like Yu-Gi-Oh with dual discs to be familiar, but it's different enough to be its own thing. And I think that's really interesting. I think a lot of card game anime would benefit from having some variation or version of the dual disc. Yes, the hair is very TCG. Yeah, the art is really good. Perfect Draw. It's a TCG where you're playing through essentially the story of not TCG. It's a TTRPG. I mean, there's so many T things. They're T acronyms. It's a TTRPG where you play through a TCG anime. And I think it's really interesting because there's like the two modes of play here. There's the regular TTRPG play, right? With like and it's a PBTA game, which I love PBTA games, which is another reason why this kind of like exists at a nexus of things that I'm really interested in. It's like, it's a TTRPG, but it's a PBTA TTRPG. And which is like double the fun, and it also interacts with TCG stuff, which is really cool. The one thing is that there's like, it's a lot of information to take in if you're just picking stuff up. I really like how at the end of the, like, they include 3 pre-made characters that like you could just pick up and play with their cards already created, so you don't have to fight with card creation, but still give you rules for card creation so you can create your own cards. And one thing that, like, it's a small detail, but they could have, like, you could have just given us the, like, the stats and stuff for those 3 characters, but it's like a filled in character sheet if you look at the printable stuff, and you can look at that and infer how the character is built, where the choices are made, what choices were made, and learn about like some basic stuff about character creation. So it hints at character creation from that as well, which is really interesting. So the card game stuff is the combat system essentially, which is really interesting, and it uses, so a lot of this baggage mechanic is very interesting. It uses a thing I've seen in some PBTA games where there's some kind of a thing that you build up, a resource that you build up that like has narrative consequences but can be used to gain some kind of an advantage in different situations, and that is where you have baggage. And it's very interesting where if something happens, and there are different ways you take baggage, it's like the baggage can be some kind of a negative thing of like you are scared to face this person, or you have you get really stressed out in a specific situation, or it's some kind of a core, how's it supposed to put it here? It says baggage represents the core struggles the character is dealing with, right? And then the baggage is then, it counts as penalties for any checks that relate to the baggage. But then in battle, if you have baggage that's related to the battle, it turns into advantage, which is a resource that you spend to activate your battle abilities. Which is like this interesting thing where like having baggage has its challenges, but it also can prove to be an advantage. And that's how you gain XP, is by resolving baggage, by going through the process of narratively resolving baggage. At least that's how I understand it. Like if you narratively resolve the baggage, that's how you gain XP, instead of, because like normally in PBTA games, when you fail a roll, you gain XP. Yes, character growth. And like in like other PBTA games, there's this thing of whenever you fail a roll, you face, resolving baggage. I like that it's both. Because it gives you, like, it rewards you for playing the game. And the fact that there's that extra step, because like in other games that I've seen, there's been this thing that our characters learn from our mistakes, so that's why whenever we fail, we gain XP. That's the explanation I've heard in another PBTA game, right? I don't know if you've heard of the PBTA game Masks. that when I've watched playthroughs and things of that game, that's the thing, their explanation of, you know, our characters are growing and learning as we go, so we learn from our mistakes. And there's other similar descriptions given, but this adds an extra step where yeah, Masks is great. I was supposed to play in a game of Masks, but then we couldn't get scheduling stuff. I've played Monster of the Week before, and I want to play or run Monster of the Week at some point. It's just scheduling is a nightmare. Because life is hard. And exactly. This adds this extra level where when you fail, you gain baggage, which is the results of failing, the negative impact, and you don't automatically gain experience until you resolve that baggage, which adds that extra step that I think helps with immersion and can help with drawing people in. I tried to make my own PBTA game, and it ended up getting a lot of feature bloat and getting like really complicated. I never got to the playtesting stage, so I never really released it. So like, it's really cool to see the development ideas and how it all came together here. But yeah, it's got 3 skills: passion, skill, friendship, which is really cool. That like, they're very simplified, but they're generic enough that they can fill a lot of different roles, and the general moves cover a lot of really good situations, which is one thing. Oh, I think it works better as an advantage stat, as an advantage mechanic. I don't know how it worked as a destiny stat. I don't know how that all worked, but I think the idea of having it being a liquid currency that like you earn or through doing different things, or that you like situationally will gain depending on what's going on, works really well. I really like that. But then again, I don't know. Building a character with like maxed out destiny would be interesting, I guess? Question mark? I don't know. It's weird to think about what could have been. Oh, you're welcome, Iris. So it's got your standard kinds of general moves, but there's like it's got the reveal stuff, use your skills, enter dangerous situation, which the enter a dangerous situation is normally in a PBTA game, right? This would be the combat mechanic, right? In a PBTA game, this would normally be the combat mechanic, but there is card game combat, right? So I think it's really interesting to still have the enter a dangerous situation, and it highlights this theme that you see in a lot of card game anime, that like there's always bigger stakes, there's always crazy things, there's always things outside of the card game that are happening, that where the main characters are always having to face dangerous situations that they can't always duel their way out of, right? You can't duel your way out of a rock pit trap. And I think that that's really interesting. So I like that. I really like that. That's included. And it's got like the investigate, brandish your skills, reveal. How many moves is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 8 moves, so it's not a whole lot of moves, right? 1, 2. Well, the thing is, the overcome a weakness is like a special move, it feels like. Okay. All right, so it is 8. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. I like the recuperate move. I think the fact that like essentially every long rest you can make a new card from your deck. I think it just keeps things flowing. Or you could change out a staple, which I'll get into the card game combat in a little bit, but like the concept of staples, I think, is so revolutionary to how like the card game stuff works in the framework of the game itself, of the TTRPG. So one thing with the card game, you get different starting life depending on how important the stakes are. And I like it in here where like you'll see in some other games this idea, and I like how they do it here, where when you go into a conflict, when you go into a fight, you set the stakes. You set the stage, and you look at all of the stuff that like how dangerous is this? How important is this? And I think like for filler fights, I'd probably start a campaign with like a filler fight just to like get everybody used to stuff. But like I feel like most of your fights are going to be significant fights till you get to the finale, the big fight, right? I don't know all of the stuff about, I know the response moves and the lashing out and the backup plans are moves that the enemies can take. I haven't read all the stuff in the judge kit because there's a lot of content to read. So I know that those are moves that enemies can make. And the fact that the enemies are still restricted, like it's not just the players that are restricted, it's the enemies that are restricted too. I think having that is really cool, and it creates a very interesting balance. So you've got the types of cards. You've got warrior cards, items, invocations, and staples. Warriors are essentially your monsters. That can be weak, normal, or strong instead of having like power. Items are like essentially artifacts. Which like the items have power, but from what I understand it, the only real like point of the power to items is how hard they are to destroy. Which I guess like that works. So there's this mechanic in Buddy Fight that I'm not sure how to replicate in this game. where in Buddy Fight, what if you could punch a land, punch a field spell to death? That's interesting. There's one mechanic in Buddy Fight that I'm not sure how I'm going to replicate in Perfect Draw. I have thoughts, but in Future Card Buddy Fight, you, the player, are like on the field, and you equip certain items as weapons that you use in order to attack monsters or to deal damage to your opposing player. And Soldier of Stone, attack the moon. Yes. So I've been kind of wondering for myself how I would replicate that here, of making an item that could be used as a weapon. But I'm still brainstorming. I want to learn the game as is before I start making too many big sweeping changes to how I run the game. Oh, really? Oh. That's great. That's awesome. That's exactly what I wanted, because I played Hero World, and that's what Hero World did. I need to learn more about those. Oh, okay. I haven't read all the playtest rules, so I haven't gone through all that. I didn't want to, like, because I know that you all wanted to, like, not leak the rules, I wanted to make sure that I was only going to be talking about the demo rules, the publicly available demo kit rules today. But yeah, I definitely got to find that. Is that in the playtest? Is that in the playtest rules, or is that like not released in the playtest rules yet? The Regalia stuff. Oh, okay. All right. Sad face, but that just gives me something. That gives me another thing to look forward to with the full release. So you've got the items. You got the warrior cards. Invocations are essentially spells, which I think is interesting. Because they're not like field spells. Ah, nice. Oh, that sounds really fun, Iris. I think it's one thing that's interesting about the invocations is the fact that they don't stay on the field. Like, you play them, they're one and done, and then they go to the graveyard. They poof onto the field, do their thing, and then disappear to the graveyard. And then the rule that, like, so normally in a turn you can play one regular card and one staple. But you can what is this? I remember there's a way where you can cast like 2 invocations. When you cast an invocation, you may forego your ability to play a staple that turn to play an invocation in addition to another card. Right. So you can play invocation and then invocation and another card instead of playing a staple. So it's one invocation and an additional card, so it's still only 2 cards. Okay. It's when you play an invocation, you can choose to play a regular card instead of playing a staple. Which I think is really interesting. It gives this feel that they're kind of like really fast, like almost instant speed stuff. And I think that's really interesting. And the staples are really cool. I think so the thing with this game is that you're not going to have multiple copies of the same card in your deck. You're going to have one copy of each card in your deck, and your deck is going to be between 4 to 8 cards. Staples do not go in the deck. They are generic cards that have slightly weaker effects, but you always have access to them. They are treated as always being available to you. So like your hand might only consist of one card if you're playing a filler game. So your starting hand is like you use one card, but you still have access to your 4 filler cards. Not filler cards, your 4 staple cards. And I think the fact that you can choose now, it doesn't have, so in the pre-made and the demo kit, the pre-made characters come with pre-built staples already selected. The full game is going to come with a list of staple effects that you can tweak to fit in your deck. Mostly just like rename them or whatever to fit as part of your deck. But I think that's really cool because that creates really interesting, like if you could have your generic, I need to draw a card, I need to destroy a card, I need to summon a token, I need to do this, and you can just always have access to that. That's really cool. So that's one thing. That's actually like the concept of staples is a mechanic that I think would be really cool. Yeah, it is really cool. I think it'd be really cool if like some other card games could do that, if you just always had access to certain Feral Imp. Nice. Two 1 for 1 mana attacker. Nice. Well, if it's a staple, wouldn't it be a token? Because monsters created by staples, yeah, warriors created by staples are tokens by default, right? And the thing is, while you have access to like you can access the same staple multiple times. Okay. They're little side cards. I get it. But the thing is, you can't use the same staple multiple turns in a row. So if you summon your Feral Imp one turn, you can't do it again on the next turn, which stops people from abusing things. Because, like, you could just make a staple that says ping for 1 damage, and then do that on your opening turn. Do that on turn 2. You win, like you win any filler game. You just fireball. Yes. I think that's really interesting. I was talking to someone else about it, about like the card game, and one of my friends, the friend who actually introduced me to this game, and she was saying that she felt like it would be cool, like, if she ran it, that she would, like, let players choose which of their cards they would draw based on the narrative stuff. And I'm like, I feel like there still has to be the RNG of what you draw, and the existence of staples means that you're not going to brick with your 4 to 8 card deck. But it just, I feel like people are going to run it different ways, which is going to be really interesting to see how different people interpret the rules and create their games. And one other thing is that yes, because there's the card game move to, yeah. Yeah, take control of the game, where you place the card you want on top of the deck. That's one of the card game moves. So your turn order, draw a card, play a card from your hand, play either a staple or an invocation. Attack with warriors. I think one of the warriors items do not protect direct attacks if only items are in the field. If a warrior attacks a warrior, I like to decide the outcome of a clash. That's interesting. And I think the concept of the weak warriors being like essentially 0 attack and not being able to do damage is really interesting. Because then, like, you're creating these really weak cards, these really weak warriors that have really powerful effects. And I think that the warriors don't have to all attack at once. You don't have to attack with all of them. And you only play a card. Okay. And you could this is another mechanic that I think is interesting. If you have enough cards in hand, you can discard a card from your hand to play an additional staple. So you could theoretically discard a card from your hand to play 2 staples in a turn instead of playing, but it's still only playing 2 cards. And the other worry that, like, I had when I was reading was that, like, what happens if you deck out, but there's rules for that. If you would draw a card and there's no cards in your deck, you shuffle your graveyard into your deck and then draw a card. When you do this, you'll lose 1 life. I think that's interesting because it essentially it creates a time limit for the game, and it runs counter to one of the main strategies I've seen in a lot of TCGs, which is where people will want to draw a bunch of cards really fast in order to increase their advantage to go plus, right? Every card you want to be adding more cards to your hand and all that. The thing is, if you do that in this game, you're going to burn yourself, because you're just going to keep cycling through your deck, and then you can only play the 2 cards a turn anyway. So getting more cards in your hand doesn't exactly translate into that, and you're going to burn yourself, which I think is very interesting. That it creates that interesting dynamic. They have the general moves for that would be interesting, Nabiru. A card that generates burn every time you injure yourself into life gain. Not sure how you would balance that, but that would be interesting. There are or maybe a way to, like, when you would take burn, inflict it on maybe an item or something that says if you would take burn, you instead inflict it to your enemy. Oh, you've seen someone do that? Okay. But the thing is, even in combat, right? There is still narrative stuff happening. You have the advantage that you are able to use to activate certain abilities, certain moves. And you have tension. And every playbook has these combat tension questions that you're trying to answer as you're playing that are key to that character and like that character's background. And every time you answer, it increases your tension. Like skipping down to combat tension questions. Here, this is one of the example characters. This is from the printout section. This is one of the example characters, and if you look down here, you have combat tension questions. There are 3 of them. Have you lost at least half your life points in this game? Has your opponent used your baggage to gain an advantage over you? Has something or someone you care about more than yourself been put at risk? And then as that happens, your tension will go up, which is a stat that you use for other things. Which the fact that there's still that narrative element to it. There's still that narrative element is really cool. It keeps it from being like one of the most fun things about like PBTA games is the narrative flow of combat. And like looking at this, one of my concerns was that it was going to be so crunchy that like the card game is going to feel like a separate entity. But the tension questions create a situation where you're still connected to your character is still connected to what's happening. And this idea that like a card game, unless it's like a filler, the card game shouldn't just be a game of, you know, shooting the breeze. There should be some kind of narrative significance to the game, or else there's not really a point to having the game, to playing it out. It has to be some clash of ideals or experiences. I do like that the ace card only works if you're behind. And I don't know if that means like you have lower life than your enemy, if your enemy has set up their strategy more than you have, if they have more board presence. I think that's just generic enough to be really interesting. As like, what is defined as being, because you can be ahead in life. Like you can have 1 more life points than your enemy, but your enemy might have a full board and be ready to just like rock your world. Yes. I think that's really interesting. Yeah. That's a really good way to put it, Naberu. Life is a resource. It's not something that you protect, it's something you use. Yes, the only life point that matters is the last one. Which is especially true in card games. And some of these moves require you to spend advantage in order to use them. Like take control of a game, let you put any card of your choice on top of your deck, or stay at one life when you would have lost. So I do like this interesting thing. So like you can risk everything to win in order to gain advantage, which creates this interesting thing where like you can get more narratively involved with the fight to gain advantage that you can utilize to yes. Exactly, Nabiru. You can risk everything to win to get more narratively involved in the fight in order to gain advantage. And I think that's really cool. And the fact that you roll plus tension means the more you've been like narratively drawn and the more of your tension questions you've been able to answer, the better chance you have of gaining more advantage. But no matter what you do with risk everything to win, you're gaining one baggage. This one's really cool. Decide the outcome of a clash. When two cards of equal strength battle each other, roll plus tension. So that's cool. I think I remember, yeah. Because I don't think the demo has rules for players to fight each other. Because there's like a couple special rules for like how you resolve this and some other stuff if players fight each other. Which I think that's really cool. And this one's really funny. So, counter an opponent's play. This means essentially everyone's a blue player. As long as you have at least one advantage, you can counterspell. You can try to counterspell. It's not guaranteed, but you can try. And that gives this really interesting thing about like interaction. That's one of the key things that made Buddy Fight so powerful. So different of a card game was it had very simplified but very easy to understand interactions in which the players could interact with or interrupt each other's play in ways that wasn't overly clunky or complicated. And for this, instead of needing a card necessarily to counterplay an opponent, if you have advantage, you can just counter. You might describe how it is. And the thing is, in the fiction, you might be saying, I play Dragon Shield or something in order to negate or nullify something. But mechanically, you're just like, you don't have to design a card to do that. Mechanically, you're just using this move. Which I think is really cool. And then there's the end of game move, the reflect on a card game move, which lets you mark an experience and possibly mark more experience if this fight resolved some baggage. Yeah, this only has team battles and free for all. Ba, 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 ba. Ba. I think in any game I run, I think you did a good job with it. You didn't go in too in depth. The one thing, the one thing that I think would have been nice to include in here would have been, but the thing is, I don't know how you would have fit the space in here because you want to keep it under a certain page limit. I get it. The rules for player versus player for PvP, because I feel like in any, like, that's a crucial part of card game anime, is like the main characters being rivals, squaring off against each other, and then trying to push each other to be better consistently. That is my one thing, that because I was gonna see if that was here, but I don't see that here. I guess it's technically a free-for-all. Yeah, I saw it in the playtest book, but I didn't see it here, and I was like, I feel like that is one of my only real gripes with the demo kit, is that, like, that just feels really important. But I mean, alternatively, you could, like, there's, for the most part, most of the rules. All right, that's cool. Well, glad I could help. Yeah, it's really interesting, and this is a very interesting inclusion. Oh, no problem, Iris. So, like I said in the beginning, this game exists at the nexus of a lot of things that are very influential and important in my life. So I very, very much want to see you succeed. Want to see this game succeed. So anything I can do to help that, I will do. This is really interesting. This is something I had not even thought of. This is something I had not even thought of, because it's not a thing. Like, it's a thing that happens in anime, but like in regular card games, it's not a thing that you see happen very often. Well, not really. Joining ongoing games is really interesting and creates rules for, like, if one player is in a battle and, like, there's like some end of the world stuff going on, and their friend and the other player shows up. The other player, or like if the other player has to go do something else first, like disarm a bomb or stop a virus from being spread or whatever, and then the player like resolves that, then they come back and they're like, you know, the riders of Rohan coming cresting over the mountain or whatever, and they're like, I've come back with I've come back with assistance, and then joining the ongoing battle. And I think that is I think that's really interesting that there's rules for that. It gives the freedom for some very interesting scenarios. But yeah, I think that's really interesting. And then now we get to the keywords. I think it's really cool that it comes with all of these keywords. Like I feel like I would come up with some, like, depending on how in depth I got with the campaign, I'd probably come up with some of my own keywords to mean stuff or to do things. But it's nice that it comes with these already built in and already balanced out. I think that's really interesting. This one right here, sniper, is really cool. I never thought of that. Yeah. So this one, the sniper, is really interesting. Because the thought of a warrior being able to do bonus damage if they attack directly is really cool, and not something I think of. I would have thought of. Like, it makes sense. But it's just pretty neat. A weak guy with sniper 666. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Excuse me. You're in a game with maximum 4 health. I'm doing 666 damage. That's so funny. That's so funny. And the funny thing is, weak warriors normally can't do any damage at all. So giving a weak warrior sniper is just funny, because how the cards are costed, the weak warrior can have the strongest effects of the warriors. Also, fumble is really interesting. Opponent describes a specific action they would take, a type of card they could play, or a kind of game action they could perform. Once between now and your next turn, if the opponent does, as you said, players may counter your opponent's play, and NPCs may use a response move without spending advantage or using their limited response moves. So, like, if you activate a fumble, you could say, attack with a warrior. And then if that person goes to attack with a warrior, you get a free counter. And that is a very interesting mechanic. Creating openings like that is really interesting. So I think there might have been like a typo with the teamwork one. Because if you read the teamwork one, it's like when a warrior with teamwork attacks, can attack alongside any number of other warriors that have teamwork. Also, up to one warrior that doesn't. When in a pool of this kind, 2 weak warriors attack as if they were a normal warrior, and then it says 2 normal warriors. I think it's supposed to say 2 normal warriors attack as a strong warrior. Or maybe it's trying to say 2 normal warriors or 4 weak warriors can attack as if they were a strong warrior. I don't know if there's supposed to be an or there or like other words there. But that sentence tripped me up a few times. Yeah. I had to read it. I'm like, 2 normal warriors do what? And then I did the math. And I was like, wait a minute. Okay, let's use context clues. If 2 weak warriors attack as 1 normal warrior, and 4 weak warriors attack as a strong warrior, then 2 normal warriors probably attack as a strong warrior. So I just had to use my context clues. But it just tripped me up a couple times. I was like, wait a minute, what? I also think it's really interesting that things like attacking effects like Overwhelm and Piercer are shared if at least one of the things has teamwork. That's how I understand it. So then you can have a variety of small things with teamwork that like have like different attacking effects, and then that they just all stack. They just all stack and work together whenever they attack as a group, and I think that's really cool. Yeah. I like giant robots. So the idea of having like a group of like weak warriors that all have different attacking effects, and then you just like boom into one big strong warrior that attacks with Piercer and Overwhelm and all of that stuff. And what will be like, I just think that'd be interesting. Underwhelm. Hello, continuity officer. Welcome to the stream. I don't think there's an underwhelm. Oh, there's an underwhelm. Yeah. When a warrior with underwhelm would decide the outcome of a clash, it always loses. Ooh, you're right. I forgot about underwhelm. Good catch. That's really interesting. So then a warrior with underwhelm would share the underwhelm with everyone. Oh, that would be so interesting. That's such an interesting weakness, continuity officer. Hey, you know what? That's fine. I think having weak points is a very interesting like setup. Like I could see a deck like that. Like you have multiple small things with teamwork that work together. And then like you have one strong thing with underwhelm that you could use solo if you aren't drawing into if you aren't like able to set up your board properly. You have one big underwhelm that attacks on its own or something. That could be interesting. I think Underwhelm plus Sniper is funny. I think Underwhelm plus Sniper could be really funny. Because then you have a thing that does not want to be clashing anyway. And if it clashes, it's going to die. But when it attacks, woo boy, he's gonna hit hard. So now we get into the actual example characters. Get the resolved. One interesting thing about this, right, is you get, like, you can see the playbook, right? But like there's stuff drawn on it, there's stuff written on it, so you get a hint of the playbook. And like if you really wanted to, right? You could reverse engineer how character creation works based on these pre-made characters, right? And I think that that's really interesting. That like you essentially have access to character creation for 3 different playbooks. And I think that's really interesting, but it doesn't give so much away that like you don't want to get the full book. I think it strikes a very good balance there. So what I'm wondering is if you start with like, oh, you start with pre-made baggage. Okay. Ah. So let's get to the character design. We got Elena Guerrero. Goes to a card game school, Shuffle City University. Has a lot of passion, not a lot of skill, but it's some good friendship. I like this one, the Building Block Battalion, because I get the image of like tiny little robots. See, Piercer is funny. For the ace, for the Star Soldier. And so these are the effects. So the thing that you start with, you see you've got the staple, and then you come up with other staples. I thought it was 3 other staples. Was it only 2 bonus staples? It is only 2 bonus staples. Okay. So you start with the 3 staples, the 4 regular cards, and I like that like they gave we have the custom cards, so that way if you're creating custom cards or whatever, you already have stuff to work with. The build instructions is funny. You can only use this card if it's the last card in your hand. Draw 3 cards. Hopefully you don't burn yourself. So this one is like, it looks like your base protagonist with a lot of passion. And then we get down to the abilities. Let's take a look at these abilities. Because there's a bunch of stuff here. And then you have the advancements, major advancements. I do like this one for like defining why your deck is important to you. I think that's a thing that people that you don't always see represented in card game anime. And that is that like the deck is important to the player because of some specific reason. Like you see it in some anime, but I just wish it was more of a thing. Like, you know, with Yugi, it's his grandpa's deck. Joey built his deck one bit at a time. You see that in Yu-Gi-Oh! But like sometimes your deck is just your deck. But I really like that made it into this game. Aw. I didn't see that. BB Star Soldier reminds me of myself as a child. Let's take a look at these abilities. Determination to win. When you meet someone or someone does something to hurt you, you may choose to make that character your adversary. You can only have one adversary at a time. Write their name below. You gain +1 on rolls made to confront or in battle against your adversary. When you beat them, erase their name above. They're no longer your adversary. That's an interesting one because you essentially get a rival for until you beat them. Then you get a new rival. So it doesn't get stale, and you can like it would really. I'm glad that there's a way to change that. Like you defeat them and then you gain a new rival. Or if you meet someone new, you have a way to gain a new rival or a new adversary. In place of your old one. Like, at least I presume you can just get a new one to replace the old one. Because if you can't do that, there's the chance that like because of story or plot or whatever, someone who you made your adversary previously might end up no longer being relevant to the story. Maybe they change their ways. Maybe you resolve stuff with them in a non-combat fashion. Egads, that would be crazy. And then all of a sudden, like, you've got this ability that's just like, well, Art of the Resolved. Oh, so that is how that works? Okay. You can reveal new possibility even when you're alone. When you do this, reveal a new possibility for yourself. That uses the reveal possibility move. When you help someone overcome an issue they couldn't complete themselves, describe how you help them. Apply any baggage-related penalties. You reveal a new opportunity. Describe this possibility and how it aids them. You still reveal new opportunity, but the judge describes what possibility is revealed, and on a 6 or less, you fail. So, that means that this archetype, the Resolved, can do that for themselves, which is really interesting. Unbreakable Will. You can always ignore up to 1 non-serious baggage when applying baggage-related penalties to rolls you make. That's cool. Someone who's just built to take a lot of punishment. When trainers' eyes meet. Oh, I love that name. When you challenge someone to a card game battle, you can initiate the fight immediately, no matter the circumstances. Ooh. Ooh. In the middle of a grocery store. Let's duel. That's really silly, but I love it. Headstrong Luck. Whenever you brandish your skills in the middle of a dangerous situation to help someone. Oh my gosh, Nabiru. I just had a mental image of just like of like someone's in the middle of getting married. It's like, does anyone object to this union between these two? The resolve kicks open the door. I challenge you to a duel. It's so silly. I do. You may now duel the bride. That is very Kaiba. He would challenge you to a duel on a sinking ship. That is very Kaiba. But yeah, when you brandish your skills in the middle of a dangerous situation to help someone, roll plus passion instead of plus skill. That's cool. This one's really cool. I like this mechanic here. Oh, I didn't mean to select everything. You have a mentor or a group of mentors, someone who wants to help you overcome problems and improve yourself. Choose one resource your mentor can give you. When you ask them for this resource, they'll grant it to you. However, to gain access again, after that, you'll need to first complete a mission for them. That creates this entire like mini game of fetch quests and other things in order to like flesh out NPCs. It creates an NPC. I love game mechanics where players can create NPCs from their backstory that are part of their character. So that's really cool. Pet cards. Oh my gosh. Escort quest. You must take so-and-so to the next city without them losing a duel. Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. That would be... and then you just have all of these team battles. You just have all these team battles and you're just like, You have a card that matters deeply to you. Although it may be simple, you could never not put it in your deck. Choose one of your cards. It gains one of your staples. It gains ace. You may use that staple 2 turns in a row. You can benefit from the play your ace move at extra time each game. Ooh. And because it's a staple, you always will have access to it. What I'm wondering is, because you can only have 1 ace in your deck at a time. So if you put if you use that to make a staple your ace, do you have to take the card that was your ace in your deck and make it no longer your ace? Interesting. Or do you just have 2 aces? 'Cause it says you can benefit from the thing twice, but you can play it like it's a staple, so you can play it multiple turns. You get 2 aces. Nice. Then we get down to the cards. So the cards in the BBB deck are very similar to the stuff that I was thinking of. Yes, Ace's Turbo deck. I like that since you only gain the benefit for playing an ace of gaining the extra advantage, if you're losing, it kind of incentivizes holding on to your ace card until you really need it. And I think that's really interesting. Or if you play it early, then you hope it gets removed from the field, and then you want to play it, you want to replay it again later. I think that could be really interesting. But yeah, so these are the cards. So you get the one that you're guaranteed for this playbook. The one staple you're always going to have. Then you pick 2 more staples. Overwork means you can't do a thing on the next turn, right? Overwork. When you play a card from your hand with overwork, you cannot play a card from your hand as part of your actions next turn. Similarly, if you play a staple with overwork, you cannot play a staple as part of your actions next turn. Okay. That's cool. Just get something out the way. All right, now to the Prodigy. This looks like Kaiba. This looks like he's the CEO of a tech corp. This is our Kaiba. He's all about skill. Doesn't do friendship. Has some passion. But this is our Kaiba, the Prodigy. Because the first one gave me kind of like Jaden vibes. Being a student in a dual academy. This one gave me like... Yeah, every card game needs a Kaiba. And the thing with the smaller warriors that team up together. I do like the BBB toy box. Just giving you an extra weak warrior, and then it says all warriors have teamwork, because then that makes with the reinforcements where you play 2. Sorry, I know I cycled back. But yeah. So this guy is an actually interesting deck. It's not. It is not a dragon one. Reiji's just Kaiba with better. Who is Reiji? Which one is that from? Who dat? Is that from one of the other later Yu-Gi-Oh animes that I didn't see? Arc V. I didn't see Arc V. As soon as dude learned about Pendulum Summon, he brought it to the masses. Okay. So let's look at, like, so he's got the struggles. I like this idea of found it mysteriously somewhere and you still don't know where it came from. Known V-Rains hater. Had to watch through and despised it thoroughly. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. I picked it up on the floor. Well, I just like, I mean, it harkens back to like Kaiba finding like obelisk from the, you know, from Ashizu, and like the mysteries around the ancient cards and the ancient duels. I find that really interesting. Reggie Gotti. I think I like all the ones from the Prodigy. Okay, so now I can actually see for each struggle you gain a baggage, and for each friend you gain a baggage. Okay, so you gain 2 baggage each. Well, 2 baggage total on character creation. Okay, that's cool. Let's go through the abilities, because it's like there's lots of stuff about like gain an enterprise, you gain a rival, which is really cool. My pride, my soul. You get +1 to all rolls directly involving your ace card, both inside and outside of a card game. When using your ace card outside of a card game, justify how it was useful to the move before gaining the bonus. Divine, go, 0 king, 0 god Reggie. That's a name. What type of monster is it? Yes. Dark Fiend Pendulum, interesting. But yes, my pride, my soul. You can throw a blue eyes at your opponent. Pendulum Fusion? Interesting. It was a manga card. Okay. Screw the rules. I have money. You have a source of extreme wealth. If you want something done that can be bought and you have the time, roll plus skill, apply any baggage. You can gain what you want, or you don't gain what you want. Something's happened to your wealth. I love that, like, on a failure, you don't just not gain the thing that you were trying to get. You lose access to your wealth for some reason. Yes, Iris, this naming convention is amazing. But the fact that, like, if you fail this roll, you lose access to the roll, and for some reason you've lost access to your fortune until you get it resolved. And, like, the fact that failing a single roll can kick off an entire side quest to regain your fortune. Like, that is just like the wasn't that the plot of one of the Yu-Gi-Oh seasons where, like, they tried to trap Kaiba in Little Karibo, please don't sue us. Yeah, it's like when Kaiba lost his company for a little bit. Like, there was an entire season of that. Like, most of a season of that. Like, wasn't he, like, trapped in some cyberverse where the corporate heads were trying to kill him off in some cyberverse? You do bring up a good point, Continuity Officer. It probably happened at least once per season. But I'm thinking of the time where he got... I could have swore there was a time when, like, someone tried to trap him with the 5-headed god dragon. The dragons and Pegasus did it at least once. Then there's Noah. And then every other season. Exactly. Yeah, the VR arc. Yeah, yeah. There was a female Mokuba? I don't remember that. Sorry about that. I'm gonna get some water. I got a scratchy throat. I just got some new flavor packets of to put in my water. Do some cherry limeade. Hey, multi-star chick. It might have been filler. I know when I was a kid, I didn't understand the concept of filler, and I just watched the anime. Hey, multi-star chick, we're looking at the demo kit. Oh my gosh, Mokuba's the real hero. Yes, continuity officer, exactly. Four kids needed more Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah. Yeah. Which then, like, it makes me really wonder, like, okay, if the Shadow Realm, like, only existed for, if the Shadow Realm was only an American thing, we see, like, in later things, Yugi's grandfather alive. Like, did he get revived? Did they just, like, did they just re-alive him? Oh. Okay. Into the Shadow Realm. Not to their death, we pinky swear. All right. Let's get back to rolling through this. So a winner, when you beat someone in a card game combat, you can force them to grant you one of the following additional benefits alongside the existing conditions for winning. Answer a single question to the best of their knowledge, publicly acknowledge your superiority, or fulfill a simple request that doesn't put them in danger. Ooh. Did 5Ds really mess with the Shadow Realm? I don't remember there being much Shadow Realm stuff in the 5Ds. So this is funny. You essentially get to take something else from your enemy if you beat them, which I think is really cool. Come on. There we go. Okay, I was like, why is that still highlighted? Don't tell me I broke my PDF. Oh. Zombified. Arrogant advantage. When you show someone you're better than them, you can convey your ideals rolling with skill instead of friendship. Ah, okay. Subordinates. Oh, you have goons. You have a group of followers. These followers may be fans of yours, employees, bodyguards, something else appropriate. You select, your followers are always close at hand when needed. Select one option to describe them. They are numerous. They have talent and knowledge to aid you as long as you meet their demands. They're dedicated. They won't ask anything of you in return for their work so long as they aren't put in danger. They are physically strong. They will help in dangerous situations and protect you in if you meet their demands. Ah, so each one asks for something different. Numerous and physically strong require you to meet their demands. But physically strong will go into danger. Numerous always has talent and knowledge of willing to aid you. But dedicated doesn't ask for anything in response, but they won't go into danger. Okay. So it's kind of like almost a rock, paper, scissors thing. Elegant Egotist. Wasn't that a card? I feel like that was a card name. I feel like that was a Yu-Gi-Oh card. You can always ignore baggage when making rolls to prove you're better than someone who has defeated or overcome or embarrassed you in the past. It's a harpy card. Yes. Turn one harpy into multiple harpies. Now only some of them are. Oh. So this is cool. I think it's funny that you can only use it on someone who's defeated you in the past. You can only use it to say why you're better than someone in the past who's beaten you. Blah, blah, blah. Couldn't talk for a second. My second ace, once per card game, when you have a card with ace on the field or you played a card with ace this turn, you may discard a card from your hand to play an additional copy of that ace as your card per turn. So you can get two aces. So it's just like summoning a bunch of monsters. Did you just summon a bunch of monsters in one turn? It's not quite summoning 3, but it's dropping 2. So look at these combat tension questions. Have you lost at least half your life? Are these the same for each one? Oh, I thought they were different. Okay. So combat tensions look like they're the same for each playbook. Vengeance is mine! Oh, okay. Alright. I thought, I misunderstood that then. I misspoke earlier then. I thought each, because I saw that they were in the playbooks. So I thought that it was a thing where each playbook was trying to answer different questions when they fought. And so they had different ways of generating tension. It makes sense that they would have the same ways of generating tension, so that way everybody has the same goals to meet. I think... Okay. It makes sense, because that's a lot of extra work in order to try to come up with that. And also, having specific combat tension questions can pigeonhole the players in saying you have to play a specific kind of way. And that kind of takes away some of the player freedom. So I can see why keeping it really generic and keeping it all the same gives everyone the freedom to do what they want. So I definitely see where you're going with that. Okay. And of course, the freebie staple, just get your ace card. Pecked by eagles. Yeah. That makes sense. I really I really hope Healing Playbook exclusive staple as a mechanic. We've debated a lot internally. Okay. Well, I like it. It gives some flavor, and it's only one of the staples. Yeah, their own Yatagarasu. So, like, I dream big sometimes. I would love to see this game succeed. Like, I would love to see it get to the point where this game has like a thriving community of people playing it and tons of like fan-made playbooks, stretching all manner of different kind of character and just like an active fan community. That would be something amazing that I would love to see for this game. So this character, this pre-made character, instead of having a big dragon, this Kaiba looking character right here, oh whoops, I didn't mean to do that, has Chain Titan Prometheus as his ace card. A strong overwhelmed story. Hey, that's the dream and the hope. I would love to see it. Prometheus fire type, yes, Nabiru. In the demo or DM, we decided to have Greek god theming in the default playbooks and setting. Oh, okay, okay. So this is like having a strong with overwhelm means that it's going to be really brutal, and it's just really powerful. Excuse me. Ooh, I like that custom card. Acolyte of Prometheus, a normal warrior with overwhelm that counts as Prometheus. Guy of wind combat forever. Yes, exactly. If your opponent plays a strong item, just punch it. Just punch the field spell. So we've seen the Kaiba, we've seen the Jaden. This one, I don't know what this one is. Like, this one's a streamer who's like really popular. Well, we have like Resolved is a girl. Prodigy is a dude. And like this one, Aggie, is she, her, or they, them? Who's the rival? I think. Yuya Arc V, and what if Taya Yuya Arc V and what if Taya Dual Monsters was actually relevant? Well, I already said I haven't seen Arc V, so I guess I'll just imagine if Taya was relevant. Very interesting. Spirit Samurai, a friend or sibling you haven't seen in a long time helped you make this deck. This one right here, where you found the deck in... Okay, nah, bro. This one's interesting. You found it in a moment of need and it helped you through a hard time. That's really interesting. It represents your connection to others or something people often neglect. That's cool. Spirit Samurai, advantages from winning clashes. Alrighty. Okay. Oh my gosh. Underground organization called NetDeck. Oh my gosh, is that Team Rocket? Is Team Rocket the team called NetDeck? I haven't read through all the stuff yet. Not aware of it yet. My sister joined an underground organization called NetDeck. She raised me ever since our parents died, but she disappeared as part of joining the group. That is amazing. Secret underground organization called NetDeck. That is amazing. All right. 3 abilities list here. You have a particular expertise that helps you stand out in the world and acts as the lens for how you connect with people. Select one. Streaming. When you brandish your skills in a way related to this expertise, you may always treat the roll as if you rolled a 10. Explain how you use your skill in a flashy and powerful way to solve your problem. After using this, you cannot do this again until you complete a battle. Ooh. So it's like a once per long rest ability. Okay. Gift card. Before any other players start a card game, you may share with them a card from your deck and add it to their deck. Before you start a card game, other players can share a card with you. Start with that card on top of your deck. All cards are returned to their owner's decks after the game. Oh, this is like some friendship power stuff. My friends are my power. When you begin a card game, combat, you start with an additional advantage for each player that has baggage related to the combat. Oh, so you gain power for your friends cheering you on. Hopeful companion. So long as you're together with a friend, when you enter a dangerous situation, you can roll plus friendship instead of plus passion. Yeah, exactly, Nabero. Social butterfly. When you meet someone new, you may decide you already know them. Roll plus friendship. Apply any baggage-related penalties. On a 10 plus, you've been friends for a long time. Describe something you know about them. On a 7 to 9, you've met before. The judge will describe something you know about them. On a 6 or less, you have a bad history with them. The judge will describe how gain baggage. See, this is one of this move right here exemplifies this ability or whatever. It exemplifies one of the things I love about TTRPGs and about PBTA games specifically is the collaborative storytelling that is made at a TTRPG table, right? this move, well, it's essentially a move. It allows the player to add some of their own spice to the world. It's not just the GM making the world and everyone else playing in it. This grants this one, or like the other one that the other person had for gaining a mentor, and other things. It adds to the world. That it lets the players be a part of the creation of the world, and have influence on how the world unfolds. And it keeps the GM on their toes, and it allows the games to spin off in new, unique, and unusual ways. So I really like this ability. I think it's really cool for this character, and I think it exemplifies a lot of what I just love about TTRPGs. That collaborative storytelling that happens at the table. Helping Hand, when another player uses overcome your weaknesses and it's able to remove baggage because you believed in them and help them, you gain a non-serious benefit of your choice. I'm wondering what that looks like. Because there hasn't been mentions of benefit. There's been mentions of baggage, but there hasn't been mentions of benefit. So I'm a little bit curious. Is it like... What does it mean for benefit mechanically, or what does it mean like for it to be non-serious? Like, is it just like you gain a bonus to something? I'm wondering. I'm just curious about that. Oh, overcoming your weaknesses? I must have missed that in the scroll up. Let's scroll up. I missed it. These are combat moves. Get 2 instead of 1. Oh, I'm a bad reviewer. I missed something. I skipped past so many moves. Overcome your weaknesses. Okay. Choose from one of the following you resolve, and then serious. Okay. Yeah, so you gain the benefit, or if it's serious, you gain the other. Instead, you get the stronger version. Okay. I read it before, like last night, but I forgot to go over it when I should have gone over the moves. I kind of skimmed over the moves. I probably should have gone over the moves a little bit more, but I wanted to get to the playbooks and the character creation. We didn't get to card creation tonight. I might do another stream in the future where I explore card creation and maybe try to work on like making some custom cards. I might do that in the future. I don't just do TTRPG stuff. I do gaming content as well. But I also enjoy doing TTRPG stuff, so that's why I wanted to do this tonight. Where were we? Helping Hand. Guardian Angel. Someone is out to protect you, whether it's a shady society or old friend, something more mysterious. Whenever you get into trouble, you can roll plus friendship, apply any baggage, related penalties. On a 10+, they come to help you and grant you a new opportunity. On a 7 to 9, they come to help, but they'll be unable to help you again until your next complete a battle. On a 6 or less, they come to help, but instead make the situation more difficult, gain baggage. Interesting. Ooh, I like this one. Draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. Target warrior can attack twice. That's cool, especially for a deck that's about winning clashes. So you've got essentially the different samurai. Item strong. Each turn, target warrior control can always choose to decide the outcome of a clash, even against cards it couldn't otherwise. Ooh. So you can make anyone win any clash. That's cool. Target warrior battles another target warrior. If they would roll the clash, they are both destroyed. Instead, you may choose two opposing. Oh, you can just make two people swing at each other. That's fun. All right, we're getting close to the end of stream, so let's look at card creation a little bit. We'll just tease into card creation. I don't know. So I normally stream on Mondays and Fridays. I don't know if I'm going to do more of this on Friday or if I might wait till after Christmas. I don't know, because I stream on Mondays and Fridays, and Monday is Christmas. So like, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. I really need to get better. That's one of the things I want to work on in the new year, is getting better at planning out what I'm gonna do for my streams. But anyway, adding cards to your deck. So volatile card creation is where you essentially come up with a card that sounds right. It's when you make it up in the heat of combat, in the middle of the moment, and it doesn't have to be entirely balanced, but it just sounds roughly right. And with the understanding that later on you'll tweak it. So I like that there is that form of card creation. Well, the thing is, it's a one battle thing. Because you can draw the perfect card, which lets you create a card in the middle of battle. But it still has to make sense. It still has to be balanced. Then there's custom card creation. Which, based on what it is, it'll have a different number of effect points, which determine how strong the effects can be. Oh, thank you, Iris. I'm glad you're having fun. So like you have these effect points, and then depending on how powerful the effects are, whether they lean into the gimmick, whether they're powerful, whether they're versatile, and whether they're consistent, it'll determine how many effect points each thing is worth and what it needs to reach for its total. And it's like you see a strong warrior has 0 effect points. So in order for a strong warrior to have anything, it has to have some kind of a weakness, because you can give a card. Scroll down here. You can give a card a weakness in order to gain more, gain more effect points that you can spend on effects. And if it leans into your gimmick and it's like specific to what you're doing, you also get another effect point to spend on things, which is why if you scroll up to this guy, he's a strong with overwhelm, but he has the penalty of losing 1 life, but he also has the benefit of when he's destroyed, he returns to the hand. I think being an ace gives something too. Whether it's your ace. Okay, this is in the card selection. If it's your ace, you get +1 EP. Yes. Okay. I just found that. It's funny. I just found that. As you said that. Yeah, it lets you push them more than you would other cards. That's really cool. I feel like the card game stuff, the card game battle system here, and the custom card creation is just detailed enough in order to allow freedom of expression and unique card battles. But it's not so complicated that the game will get bogged down with combat. I'll have to do some test battles. I'm working on learning how to set this up in Roll20. And then I can do some test draws. I cannot make any promises right now because everything's still in flux. With the new year, I don't know what's going to happen with like all the stuff going on in my life. Oh goodness. I like the way you did it with the weak, normal, strong. It's very simplified and removes a lot of the math and stuff involved. I can definitely see where you've put a lot of work into the balance. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and also I'm a grade A disaster of a person. So for me, trying to plan out too much stuff ahead of time is a bit chaotic. So I have no idea what's gonna happen, but I guess I will share some of my goals when it comes to content related to this. I want to do more content exploring the card creation. At some point in the new year, I would like to do a streamed game. I'd probably do an offline game, like a home game first, to get a feel for the rules. But once I have a feel for like how the rules work and how stuff works, I want to run a streamed game to obviously advertise the game and put out more content. And this game came along at a really interesting time for me because like I said before that like with the new year I want to be refocusing some more of this stuff with my content. I've jumped around as a variety streamer for a while now, and I have to acknowledge that the bulk of my subscribers came because they were interested in TTRPG stuff. That is where the bulk of my subscribers came from, my Mutants and Masterminds videos. And I haven't really done content for them. I don't know if I'll go back to Mutants and Masterminds because I got kind of burnt out with that, but I would love to do content for this game. And there are other games that I can do content for as well. But I want to be producing more TTRPG content. I want to get back into video editing, so I'm not just streaming and actually making like easier to digest videos, so you don't have to watch a full 3-hour stream. So that is a whole thing. But I want to get people together and do a streamed game of this. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. I have to look at, like, I was talking to one of my friends and we were like, we have to totally recreate Buddy Fight. But I don't know if I would want to do that for like my first streamed game of it. I think I would want to do something a little bit more generic first. Oh, excuse me, sorry. So that would be... I'm curious about that regalia effect that you mentioned, Iris, though. That sounds real cool. Where you become a warrior. That sounds real fun. But yeah, this has been my look at Perfect Draw. My, I guess, thoughts on it are I really like it. I like the ideas it's going for. I like the ideas it's expressing. I think this is. Oh, I'm glad to have you here. I'm always looking to expand the community and have new people. Hey, Hero Girls. Hero Girls is the one who introduced me to this, like, by posting about it on her Discord server. That's how I found out about this game. I've just been reviewing the demo kit, Hero Girls. I've just been reviewing. Oh, did you go over it in your stream too? Or were you just reading it? Oh yeah, I forgot. You're on a break from streaming till next year. Makes sense, makes sense. Yeah. You'll actually be excited to know this, Hero Girls. Yeah, we definitely got a collab for it. We definitely got a collab for it. Iris here is one of the co-designers, co-writers of this game, and Iris mentioned that in the full version of the game, there's a card effect called Regalia, that like says that the card allows you to turn into a warrior. So it's like the transform mechanic from Hero World. That's going to be in the full version of the game. I like that description. Hit perfect draw with hammers until it looks good. But yeah, I gotta. Yeah, I thought you'd get a kick out of that. Yeah, same. I did not go over it. I asked some people on the Discord server. And apparently, so I did some research. I guess I'll go over that a little bit too, since we have some time before end of stream. I normally stream to about 11:30 EST. You can, what I discovered is, in Roll20, you can upload custom images for the front and back of cards in order to create custom decks of cards in Roll20. And you would use a card creator. Somebody was suggesting one in the Discord server, to use a card creator to create the fronts, and then using different pictures or whatever for the backs, so you could differentiate between the decks. You put the decks out. The thing is, like, your staples don't go in the deck. You always have access to your staples, so your deck is only ever going to be between 4 to 8 cards. So it should be fairly easy to make those cards, to make the fronts of those cards and upload them into that, and then you just have your shuffle, your draw. You have to make sure you set up a discard pile for each one, so that way when you use the cards, it goes into the discard pile. I did a little bit of research with that. Yeah. Yes. You always have access to the staples. You draw the custom cards, and there we were going over it, and there's a move because I remember you were. Okay. I could do Tabletop Simulator. I have that. I rarely use it. I got Tabletop Simulator. I think someone bought Tabletop Simulator for me forever ago. But like, we were talking about like drawing cards. Ah, cool. We were talking about drawing cards, and there was this interesting one. Cockatrice? Oh, I haven't heard of that one. And I remember you'd mentioned about like possibly having players choose cards instead of drawing random cards. And we were talking about that. And there's this move, Take Control of the Game, which lets you put any card any card of your choice from your deck on top of your deck by spending an advantage as one of the options. And I was like, that could be a really good way for like allowing players to like spend their advantage to get narratively the card they want. But also, since your deck's only going to be between 4 to 8 cards at any given point in time, you're pretty likely to see the cards you need over the course of a game. I haven't experimented with Cockatrice. So that's a card creator, or is it a card drawer? Fanware interface for playing Magic. It's super manual, non-automated, but it imports custom sets and keeps visuals on what players are using have. Ooh, spicy. So you could probably, like for a streamed game, I could probably do some kind of a Cockatrice meets a custom dice roller or something. Yeah. I was thinking Roll20 because it already has the dice roller concept in there, and I know Roll20 like the back of my hand. I've logged in so many hours of Roll20. But yeah, that is, yeah, basically like buddy fight area. That could definitely work. I'll look into that. Yes, I Attack the Moon is a real mechanic because you can attack items. You can punch field spells. You can punch items. Yes, I Attack the Moon is a real mechanic, and I think that's amazing. But yeah, as for my feelings on the game, I think the game is outstanding. I think it has the potential to be a real real big success. I think that this game strikes this balance between being crunchy enough. Sounds about right, Hero Girls. I think the game, my review or my overview of what I think of the game is that it strikes this good balance between being just crunchy enough to allow player expression and freedom, while not being so crunchy that it's going to push away new players. I think the demo kit does a really good job of giving very unique and understandable and easy to understand decks out to players. I really like this. Where it gives you this printable stuff where you can print out the cards and like put them together. I think that's really cool. And all the playbooks, I like that for the demo kit. My only couple of things with the demo kit is which one of them already got fixed, was that when I downloaded the player thing for the demo kit, the latest player file said it was the judge file, but apparently that got fixed already, so that's already taken care of. And I hope that the next version or variation of the demo kit will include the rules for player versus player combat, because I think that is a key part of TCG games. So that's important. There were, and I think I only saw like one or two, like, oh, it's in the judges kit now. Oh, okay. It will be interesting. It will be interesting, Hero Girls. I didn't go over the judges kit. I just went over the players kit. Okay. Are you one of the developers too, Continuity Officer? I've read through most of the judges kit. Well, no, not most of. I'd say about half the judges kit. I didn't want to go over all of it on this. I wanted to dedicate this to going over the players kit. Oh, you're the lead developer. Awesome. Oh, okay, awesome. Great to see you. Oh, thank you for coming. Yeah, I skimmed over some of that. I want to go over some of that. I probably will do after I read more of the players kit than I I really like this game, which I've said multiple times, and I really want to see this game succeed. So if me making content can help in that way, help in any way, I will. But yes, it has been an interesting night, Hero Girls. Yeah. I would like that. I think I got the playtest rules. I think you gave me access to the playtest rules already. I know I messaged you directly, Continuity Officer, in order to just recently gain access, but I didn't want to go over. I haven't fully read all the playtest rules because I knew I was going to be streaming this today, and I didn't want to accidentally go into things that are in the playtest rules, because I know that you said that, you know, you want to keep things, like one of the rules of the Discord is don't leak the rules, so so if you want, but yeah, if you could give me the full PDF. We were Iris was telling me about some effect that's in the full game called Regalia, where like you become a warrior, like a card that lets you become a warrior, and I'm like, that's really cool, because like I love buddy fight, and Hero World was my world, and I know Hero Girls is who's also in here is also really hyped about Hero World, so like learning how that effect works would be really cool, because I think I know some people who would love to know, if nothing else, how that effect works for some of the playtest stuff that I do. For some of like the stream games. I'm planning to do a stream game at some point next year. Oh yeah, the Yu-Gi-Oh season that had the armor suit deck. Awesome. Awesome, 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 possum. Well, tonight has been fun. This has been a great stream. This has been a great stream. Awesome Possum. You never heard Awesome Possum? Fine, it's me, Awesome Giant Robot Possum. That better? Awesome Giant Robot Possum with laser eyes. I'm glad you were able to learn something new. I'm glad I was able to share some of the bizarre phrases I say. I summoned myself in attack mode. Yes, that is literally what I'm going to do, Nabiru. I'm going to summon myself in attack mode. Wah! Oh my gosh. Alright, so let's wind down a little bit. We're getting closer to the end of stream. What's everybody doing for Christmas? Let me change over to the just chatting screen. Oh my gosh, that's so cool, Iris. I play me. That's so funny. Oh no, not the weeds. I'm gonna be for Christmas, I'm doing a Christmas breakfast with some of my close friends and the like family to me, which will be interesting. Because it's like in the morning of Christmas morning, and like they're gonna have to pick me up. So it's like I have to be awake and ready to be picked up to go to the actual Christmas breakfast where there'll be other people there. So I have to be like up, showered, dressed, and awake at like 9 o'clock in the morning. Like because the breakfast starts at 10, so they're probably gonna pick me up around like 9:30. So doing that. And so normally I run a Lancer game on Sunday nights. That's been running for over a year now. And thank you, Iris. Thank you so much, Iris. Yes. Lancer is up to this point has been my main TTRPG. I talked about my TCG stuff. I didn't talk about my TTRPG stuff. Wrapping gifts in my own evil ways, then watch people struggle to open them. No sharp objects. That's usually my highlight of the holiday. That is, I can't wait to see. You got to share pictures of your crazy gift wrapping stuff, Nabu. Share it on the Discord. I can't wait to see what you're working on. But so with TTRPGs, I started playing D&D 3.5 when I was like a teenager. I didn't really have people to play with, so I would like do the like yes, Nabaru has the Krampus swag. When I was a kid, I used to do the randomly generated dungeon stuff, where you would randomly generate what was in each room of the dungeon and randomly generate what enemies were there with all the dice tables in the rulebook for 3.5. And that used to be what I would do. Then I went to college. I played some 3.5 with some of my friends in college. And I didn't really touch TTRPGs after that till 5th edition came out. I ran 5th edition for a while, but then I stopped for like a year or two. Then I came back to it, and it's really funny because like I'd spent so much money on D&D 5th edition books. And like when we found the books in my storage, and I was like, are these mine? Are these somebody else's? And like I picked them up, and I instantly had the buyer's remorse that let me know, yeah, I spent money on these. I've ran 5th edition for D&D 5th edition for a long time. Then I moved on to Mutants and Masterminds because I got burnt out on 5th edition. Then eventually I got burnt out on Mutants and Masterminds, and I expanded to other games. And my main game that I've been running for the last couple years has been Lancer. I love giant robots. I love mechs. I am a mech nerd, as noted by my artwork and my lore as a VTuber. Well, the artwork I commissioned of my character and stuff. Like this robot in the top right corner was done by Allegoric Siren. I have a link to their stuff in my my description. That's who did that mech. I love giant robots. This little mask down here on the bottom, in like, even with my character, that was my attempt at drawing something, and it did not come out super great, but I still like it. I think it's cool. Trying to draw like a Power Ranger helmet, a Super Sentai helmet, or Kamen Rider helmet. You know what I mean. So yeah, I've been running Lance. I have a long running Lancer game. NHPs go brrr. Yes, Lancer is amazing. How do I say this? I am known among my friends for the fact that my games always contain a lot of things that interest me. I find ways to take things that interest me, whatever my latest hyperfixation is, whatever my latest interest is, and work it into the game. When I started my Lancer game, it was all about dragons. I was all this stuff about different dragons and the lore of dragons, because I was just coming off of playing Dragalia Lost, because that game was very influential for me. So I put a lot of the lore from Dragalia Lost into my Lancer game. And then I just kind of started throwing other things, and I started working to try to make everything fit. The latest thing that I've added into the game is Zoids. Oh, my favorite Lancer mech. See, it's weird. I spend more time as a GM than I do as a player, but I have to say I like the Drake because it's just so durable. And its license gives you the Leviathan Heavy Assault Cannon. That's what I use for my one where I play. I think it's the Drake. Yeah, the big green one with the shield. In the game where I'm a player, my character is both the tank, one of two tanks actually, and the DPS, because I use a super heavy. And I crank out ridiculous quantities of damage. Like if there is an enemy, yeah, you're right, Iris. You're right. IPSN makes stuff built to last. So I love the Leviathan Heavy Assault Cannon. It's just so big. It hits for so much damage. There's so many dice. And then when I crit, ooh, it's delicious. With overpowered caliber and nuclear cavalier, oh, it's delicious. The amount of damage that I can crank out on a single target. I think I've blown through like 2 structure of an enemy on 1 shot. It is so spicy and delicious. Anyway, it's getting around that time to end stream, so I know we have some new people, so I will go over what I do at the end of stream. I like to, at the end of stream, say positive affirmations about all of my viewers. I say it as a group. I like to speak positivity and goodness. And yes, that's numbers. Exactly, Iris. I like to say positive things about my viewers because I believe we all need to, I believe it helps for all of us to speak positivity into each other's lives. So I will go back through and look at everybody who came into chat today. So, to Iris, to Nabiru, to Silva, to who else came? I think it was just that them and Continuity Officer, and to anyone else who watched the stream and didn't say anything in chat, and to anyone who watches this VOD afterwards, I want to say I love all of you, and I believe in each and every one of you. I think that you all are truly special, one-of-a-kind, and unique individuals. I believe that each one of you has the potential to make this world a better place, and I'm grateful every day to live in a world with you in it. Thank you for coming to this stream, and thank you for giving me your time, your attention, and your energy. Thank you for being a part of this community, and thank you for being a part of my life. I always remember the Star Hunter motto: shoot for the stars, have wonderful adventures, live your dreams, and always stop to enjoy the memes. One thing I do ask is that you like the stream. It helps the algorithm with pushing it out to other people, and it helps with letting me know what people are interested in, where they are, what things people want to see. Also, if you have any friends, relatives, neighbors, rivals, best friends, arch enemies that you think might enjoy my content, feel free to show them my content or invite them to the next stream. Next stream is going to be Friday at 8:30 p.m. EST. Aw, yes, I'm glad that you had fun, Iris. Next stream is going to be Friday at 8:30 p.m. EST. Not quite sure what I'm going to do yet. I still have to see. I'm real bad at planning ahead. But we'll see how I'm feeling, and I'll post about it on Twitter or on my Discord, and on my Facebook a little bit before the stream what I'm going to be doing, so people can know if they want to tune in or not. If you want to keep up with what I'm doing on YouTube, feel free to subscribe and ding the notification bell to let you know whenever I go live or when I release any new content. If you want to keep up with what I'm doing outside of YouTube, you can follow me on Twitter or join my Discord. Links to both of those are in the description down below. One thing I do want to say is that sorry, I always get tongue-tied on this part. I never want anyone to feel like they have to donate to be a member of this community. I never want anyone to feel like they have to pay to be welcome here. I believe that all of you are welcome and valued members of this community for sharing your time, your energy, and your attention with me, and for coming and being a part of the streams. With that said, I appreciate each and every person who has donated in the past, who's helped make things possible for me in my life and helped me accomplish things that I could not have accomplished on my own. If at any point you ever feel motivated to donate to improve the stream, to improve my life, to help out with anything, there are links where you can do that in the description down below. And also, if you are interested in getting the demo kit or going to or backing the project that I covered tonight, the Perfect Draw, there are links to the Perfect Draw demo kit and backer kit webpage, I believe it's called, backer kit webpage, in the description as well. Have yourselves a wonderful night. Hope you, if I don't see you, have a wonderful holiday, and I will see all of you. Well, I hopefully will see all of you, and maybe even more on Friday. Have one second. Oh, so boop, boop, there we go. Had to make my model wave. Have a good night, everybody.